First time I've been able to use the remote for a while, since I'm using these new microphone things here. They're not Bluetooth, so it doesn't interfere with the remote. Anyway, this is my second take because the first time I didn't realize my lapel mic had fallen off, so I didn't pick up any audio. So I'm trying this again. Good morning. It is the 25th of March, 2024. It's another pretty day. Starts out very cool, but it'll warm up a little bit later. So right now it's okay. I decided, since I had to start so late, I'm not going to attempt that door replacement today. I'll wait for warmer weather, maybe another month or two before I do that, so I have all day to work on it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to look at that ticking noise on the engine, see if I can solve that today. So I'll start by removing the valve cover on the passenger side and just doing a visual inspection, check the push rods, all that kind of stuff. Then I'll, assuming everything's fine there, I'll start it up and use my new stethoscope to see if I can isolate which lifter seems to be doing the noise. And just to illustrate some other prep work that I'm doing, I also turned down the gain on this microphone, so hopefully it's not so distorted anymore and loud. So I've already got 2 new lifters soaking in some fresh oil. I may not even need them, but figured I'd be ready just in case I do decide to use them. And then over here, I've started the process of removing the 1/2-inch bolts that hold the valve cover in place. So I'll have that off in a few more minutes, and we'll proceed from there. Since I have to remove the spark plug wires in order to get the cover off easily without hurting anything, I have my brand new tool here that I haven't used yet to preserve the boots. So we'll see how this thing works. All right, it works beautifully. So nice to have the right tools. Makes such a difference. I'll just take those off and get the cover off and see what we got going on under there. Oops. I want to do that. I guess it's possible to use any tool improperly if you're not careful. Okay. Now we pull the cover off, out of the way. There we go. All right. Set this aside. All right. Yeah, just giving it a quick visual. I mean, everything looks fine. I don't see any evidence of a bent push rod over here on any of them. They're all turning nicely in their bores here, so no problems there. All right. I will reconnect the wires. We'll start the engine and let her warm up. All right, I'll let you watch as I start the engine from cold start here. It doesn't have to run very long. It doesn't have to warm up for what I'm trying to do here, I don't think. But let's just get her started. That fast idle cam definitely needs more adjusting. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. At least she starts easily. Keep my foot on the gas for a minute here. All right, I think she'll stay on. Maybe. That choke opens up so fast too in that carburetor. I'm just amazed. Beginning to think I need to adjust that a bit, but that's nothing I'm too worried about right at the moment. Now the stethoscope is very sensitive. I was trying it out before I started the engine, man. That thing picks up sounds very quickly. I hope it doesn't hurt my ears. So let's see what we got here. That's not really helping me any. Alright, it's definitely loudest over here. Alright, it's the end one. Oh yeah, definitely tell. Oh yeah, it's definitely the end one. You can really tell the difference. Wow. Yeah. Unfortunately, and I didn't know this until I had the cover off and looked a little closer. I'll take a closer look with you here so you see what I'm talking about. I'll turn this around. If you look right here, the opening, let me use this as a pointer, the opening where this push rod is on the ends on both sides of the head are much smaller than all the others. In fact, it's so small, there's no way I can get the lifter out through there, through that opening. So that tool that I have is not going to work. But I can definitely tell the noise is coming from this lifter using this. It's very loud when you put it on that part right there on the rocker arm. And I really don't think it's the rocker arm where that noise is coming from. I think it's the lifter. And unfortunately, the only way I'm going to be able to replace that lifter is by pulling the intake manifold, pulling the valley cover, and going through that. That's a lot of work and not something I'm going to attempt today. I'm going to save that for some future time. But definitely coming from this first one. That's where the noise is coming from. I also just found this little piece here sitting loosely in the top of the head. I do believe that's probably part of a valve stem seal. So it probably has bad valve stem seals as well, but I'm not too worried about that right now. The sad part about all this is I had the intake manifold off at one time, of course, and I could have easily taken care of this, but at the time I had no idea I had a bad lifter there, so that's okay. I mean, the car still runs. It runs smooth even with that noisy lifter. So I will, like I said, I'll just save that for a future project. In the meantime, I'll get the gaskets I'm going to need. Valley cover gasket as well as another set of intake manifold gaskets. And we'll just make that a future project. Alright, since I'm saving this project for the future, I'm just putting the valve cover back on right now. I did just order the valve cover gasket and another set of intake manifold gaskets from Lincoln Land. They'll be here in a few days, and I'll get to that when I get to it. Not a big rush on that project. I also just got off the phone with Felix Lafour. Very nice talking to him. He knows his stuff when it comes to window switches. And as I suspected, and he's 100% certain this is going to work, on this aftermarket switch I got from John Brewer, he says all you need to do is clip that band there, that metal band that's connecting the two terminals, and that'll take care of the issue I'm having both with my master switch, which I can't test right now, I just realized because I sent it off to him for rebuilding, but this will also no longer interfere with the vent window on the passenger side. So I'm going to get something to carefully clip that, separate those contacts, and then give that a test to make sure it works like it should. It's always cool when things work out the way they should. So I built myself a crude little jumper here to simulate the presence of the master bypass switch. That plug needs to be in anyway to test all the other switches. Right now the ignition is in the off position, so this is in the bypass position. When you connect all three of these together like that, it's like holding the button in the bypass position. So there's power to all windows at all times. So this is the switch that I modified. You can see how I clipped it there. That was kind of tricky and not without some injuries along the way, but it's operating that window over there. Now if I go to this switch over here, which before wasn't working when that was plugged in, Now it's working like it should. So, and this is just showing that all windows are powered right now. They all work like they're supposed to. So that's kind of cool. So now what I'm going to, oh yeah, the other thing is the other brand new switches that are in here that still have that little strip on the back you see there, they should not be working right now. Oh, they are. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Well, now I'm confused because could it be, I never thought about this. Could it be that it was just the one switch that was causing the problem? Is that possible? Because I did not expect any of the other windows to work using these new switches because I thought I was going to have to clip the little strips on them too. But maybe it was just the one. Isn't that weird? Huh. Well, anyway, I think I'm getting close to being completely done with all these window switches. I did send off my master switch to be rebuilt by Felix because the contacts were dirty and it was intermittently working. So that'll be returned, refurbished, and that'll be it. Actually, that's the last thing I'm waiting for. And that's it for window switches again. Now that I'm done putting the window switches back together, everything is fine there. I tell you, I really struggled with what I wanted to do here. I mean, on the one hand, I could literally just tear the top end apart again, pull the covers off, the intake manifold, the valley cover, and then go ahead and replace that bad lifter. And then I'd be ready to assemble it as soon as the gaskets got here, But on the other hand, I've done so much other work to the car. I want to drive it. I want to see how it drives with the new, all the new front end components, the shocks, the transmission. Now that I understand how it's supposed to shift and all these things, so I'm at least going to wait till I do that. That should happen late today. I should be able to drive it. Then maybe as I have time later in the week, toward the weekend, I'll start ripping apart the top end here so I can be ready for when the gaskets show up. All right, back to the Bluetooth microphones temporarily. I was in the process of troubleshooting the low fuel warning relay, which I have in my hand here. I was getting ready to hook it up to the battery. Then I decided I want to reroute this positive cable a little bit. I don't like how it's sitting here with my new washer bag and everything. So I was in the process of doing that. I don't even really know how to test this other than to listen to see if it clicks, when I apply power to it. I'm assuming power goes in the center terminal here, and I need to ground the body, and then the other three, maybe they'll do something when I try to connect them. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know how to test it. I do notice that it's pretty corroded on the outside, which probably a good indication of what it looks like on the inside. So this relay probably is defective, and I might just take it apart if I can't, get it to do anything, just to see if it's even repairable. And while I was out here, the mail person came by and brought some more goodies. This is the tiny little bearing sleeve I've been waiting on to put my steering column back together, and this is very exciting because when I put this back together, I'll be able to drive the car. So still can't figure out. It looks to me like I'm probably going to have to pull that bearing out of there and wrap this around it. I don't think I can do it while it's still on the steering column, but I'll look at that in a few minutes when I finish up under the hood. The other thing I got, which I didn't mention I was buying, this is from a guy on eBay who was parting out a 67 Lincoln, Konstantin Mendeleev, I think his name was. He had some parts that were very reasonable. I have a beautiful working power antenna. Mine kind of works, but not too well. The motor is really slow. He had a video of this working, so I know it works well, and he had a very reasonable price, so I jumped on that. He also had one door handle set here with the clips, with the covers that are so rare and hard to find. These are a little bit pitted, especially that one, but that's okay. They're still perfectly usable. I'm glad to use them. I don't need the handle, but I certainly need those clips. So that leaves one door left that I need to find 2 more clips for. And and also spare tire hold down hook, which I did not have. So that's kind of fun, especially since I'm about to get new tires. So anyway, I'm going to finish up under the hood so I can work on the steering column right now. All right, I got no microphone right now, so I'm just going to talk a little louder. I've tested this relay and it does click. In fact, it supplies power to this line, the yellow with the black stripe. That's the one that goes to the dash light and lights up that little red light. So I have power on the bottom circuit there, and when I ground the outer one, it sends power to this test light, and it lights up. So that tells me this relay is just fine. So I'm going to put that relay back, and I'll chase down that problem some other day. While I was in the process of getting ready to test that relay, I moved the windshield washer back to the left, the way you're looking at it right now, closer to the front of the car by probably an inch. Did not like the way it was sitting on the bracket, all scrunched up against the starter relay and all that. Had to drill a new hole in the firewall to accept a second bolt, but that's okay. I think it looks a lot better there, and I rerouted the positive cable from the battery too, so it's not underneath that washer bag. Little detail. Makes me feel better though. I'm going to put this relay back now and see if I can get that collar in the steering column. So I'm looking at this bearing sleeve. Man, it's rubber. I thought it was going to be at least hard plastic, but it's actually rubber. I guess that was the original equipment, so that tells me I should be able to just squeeze that onto the shaft there without too much trouble. We're going to give it a shot anyway. Sucker was expensive too, but I guess it's custom made. Here's my tool that I'm going to be using. Haven't used it before, I just opened it. Luckily it comes with various sizes. The ones that are on there right now are way too big for those tiny little holes on that retaining clip there. So I'm going to swap this out and see how we do. Well, unfortunately I'm going to have to call it quits for the day. I'm running out of time. It looks like this bearing is a bit of a press fit. I'm not able to pry it off, and I can't get that this rubber sleeve around it either the way it is. So when I have another day, which will be probably Thursday at the soonest, I will probably try disconnecting the rag joint, the flex coupling under the hood there at the steering gear. See if that gives me enough room to just pull the shaft out, because I can move it some. I think that's just the flex part of the coupling letting me move it out some. If I can get it out, you know, a good inch, that would probably be plenty to get that sleeve on there and then get it back on. So that's where I'll pick up when I come back. Close, oh so close. Thank you, bye.